Hello, my name's Mike. Right now I'm sitting on my front porch, um, basically making a video. Um, I have I got 5 acres of land, and my house is on 1 acre, and and the reason I'm doing this video is because I have MAC, and I have COPD, and I'm going to tell my story of what happened to me, how I found out that I had COPD. I quit smoking about 4 years ago, and because I was coughing a lot, I said I gotta stop this, so I just threw them away and never smoked again. So, well, on October 30th, I was in my bathroom and I had a coughing fit, and I was bent over my sink and I felt like someone stuck a knife right in my shoulder blade, and I'm like, what was that? And because it hurt really bad. I mean, it felt like a knife. So the next thing you know, I couldn't breathe at all. I was struggling and I'm struggling and I'm struggling. And my wife comes up, she's like, what's wrong? I said, I don't know. I said, I can't breathe. I said, I'm scared. And as soon as I said that, she automatically called the ambulance, because she said, I've never heard you say that before. So she called the ambulance, and the ambulance showed up and immediately put me on oxygen. And it was enough to keep me going until I got to the hospital. So when I got to the hospital, they immediately took chest x-rays, and they said, your lung collapsed. I was like, what? They said your lung collapsed. So they immediately stabbed me in the side with this tube to get my lung inflated again. And so I was screaming like crazy, because it hurt. I mean, they literally just shoved it right in. So about 15 minutes later, I was breathing again. I could breathe. So a little about myself. I was in the Navy for 20 years, and basically I spent 15 years on ships in different countries. I've lived in different countries. So enough about that. So they transferred me to the other hospital. So they got me there, they got me in a room and stuff, and I could breathe. I couldn't breathe very well, but I could breathe. So they came in and did some more x-rays, and so the doctor came back and said, you have COPD and MAC, really bad. Okay, MAC is a lung disease, and everybody knows what COPD is. It's from smoking. And thought maybe I was gonna try to save myself by quitting 4 years ago, but obviously that didn't work. So, um, so went through that for a couple days, and the infectious disease doctor came in and said, "We think you have tuberculosis." I said, "What?" He said, "We think you have tuberculosis." Well, tuberculosis is highly infectious. It's a highly infectious disease. He said, "We have to move you. We have to put you in isolation." So they put me in isolation in a positive ventilated room. So, and I couldn't really see anybody. So, put me in the room, took some specimens from me, said, "We have to send this off to the Washington State University and basically let them grow, and basically to find out what this is inside your lungs." I said, "Okay." So that was on like day probably 7 or 8. So they started giving me a lot of drugs, a lot of antibiotics, just bags and bags of antibiotics, just constantly, every 20 minutes they were giving me bags of antibiotics. I'm like, damn. So around day 21, 22, finally the infectious disease doctor came in and said, "It's not tuberculosis, it's not infectious, it's MAC." I said, "Okay." He said, "I'm going to try to get you out of here tomorrow." I said, "That's good." He said, "But I have to put a pick in your arm." I said, "What's the pick for?" He said, "The pick is to put amikacin directly into your vein that runs to your heart." I said, "Oh, that's nice." So later on that day, a nurse came in, prepped me for all this kind of stuff, and came in and put a line in my arm that ran to my heart, and basically had 2 leads on it that can be plugged into a bag. So when I got home, they were shipping me on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday bags of amikacin so they could put into my arm. So I had home health care nurse coming in. On every Monday, she would draw blood, and Monday she would put the amikacin in, and Tuesday and Friday my wife would put the amikacin in. But Monday, the home health care nurse would come in, put the amikacin in, and then draw blood, because they have to draw blood for the amikacin, because amikacin can really hurt your body. I mean, it can hurt your kidneys, it can hurt your liver. I mean, everything. It can hurt anything in your body. So they were taking blood every Monday. So I'm thinking to myself, am I going to be able to go back to work? Am I ever going to be able to go back to work? I said, "Yeah, you can go back to work." So after 3 months, the amikacin stopped. But I was still on 6 antibiotics, pills. So, taking them every day, and taking them every day. So, I said, well, so I went about 5 days after my last amikacin. I said, well, you know what? I'm gonna try to go back to work. So I went back to work, and they were all happy to see me. Hey, you know, of course, they're short-handed. They don't have anybody. But I was struggling the whole time I was there. Breathing, struggling, breathing. At home, struggling, breathing. And I'm like, how am I going to survive this? How am I gonna feed my family? You know. I've worked for over 40 years. So, what am I supposed to do? You know. And of course, no one wants to help you. You know, I was in the military for 20 years. Yes, I get my retirement, but that doesn't cover everything. You know, I have medical bills. I have, you know, pharmaceutical bills. I have all this kind of stuff. So, I don't know. This may have came from the military. For me being overseas in Bahrain and places that, you know, have dust storms and things like that, it may have came from there. I don't know. But of course, no one's going to give you an answer on that. So, so right now, I had a CAT scan yesterday. I haven't heard anything from the doctor yet, but I'm hoping to within the next couple days. So, I'd like to keep making some YouTube videos. You know, maybe that can keep me going. I don't know. But you know, things like today, like my grandkids were here for an Easter egg hunt. I couldn't even go out in the yard, and it's terrible. Couldn't even go out in the yard with them, so they could find their Easter eggs. So how bad do I feel? You know, I know it's not my fault. Well, it is kind of my fault because I smoked. I smoked for 44 years. But, you know, is there any way to fix this? Is there any treatments? Is there any, you know, I need to go back to work. That's my biggest thing. I need to go back to work. So, please subscribe, share, please. Thank you very much. I want to do some prepper videos also. Some unboxing videos I'm going to do also. So I appreciate everybody. And I'd like to send a shout out to Anna and Mickey for helping me on my route. I appreciate that. And I'll see you guys later.